watching our special from Srinagar, where we have been covering the floods which people over here in Srinagar have seen nothing like that ever before, and they really are yet to recover. Downtown Srinagar is still cut off, and the people tell us they just don't know when life will again be normal for them.
Thankful to these people who have rescued us, because we have patients, we have children. We thank you people, Air Force people. They came in time and saved our families.
On the first day that we came to Srinagar and we went to all the flood hit areas in the city, and we'd asked people where is it that the injured were being taken, a lot of people in the Naugam area told us that we should visit a hospital called Ahmed Hospital. They told us that if we went to the Ahmed Hospital, we'd see how well people were being taken care of by the doctors over there. It's a really small setup. It's only a 20-bed hospital, and now it was having to cope with these devastating floods which are bringing people from far, because this hospital was the only one in the area which had facilities like delivering babies. Take a look at what we saw and some of those amazing stories and amazing work that the doctors of Ahmed Hospital are doing. So in the only functioning hospital in Srinagar, we are here. Dr. Iqbal is here with us. Dr. Iqbal, what are the problems you're facing?
You see, we are facing hosts of problems here. This hospital has an intake capacity of just 25 beds. But since Sunday, this hospital has conducted 82 cesarean deliveries. It has a dialysis unit too. And out of all dialysis centers in the city, this is the only functional unit at present.
Dr. Khani, yeah.
Dr. We are doing it on rotation basis. There are doctors, gynecologists, anesthetists. They are coming in 2 hours session, like 2 hours, 3 hours session. We have a dialysis unit here. We are doing dialysis. Dialysis fluid is short. Since 4 days, there is no electricity. Nobody is bothered.
There's no electricity.
There is no electricity. Hospital is entirely working on 2 gensets on alternate basis.
Oh my God.
The staff which we have and which we had here, they're all exhausted. Nothing is coming from anywhere. There are some voluntary people who are planning.
You've had to close off the door.
We had to close off the door, and you will not believe there are doctors who are cleaning the floors. Doctors, yeah, you see, they're all doctors who are cleaning the floors. There's nobody, there's no help. The problem is, maybe, now the worst thing is that patients are being sent by government hospital. They are referred to this hospital for cesarean sections. We are short of dressing, sterilization. How we are managing, you will not believe. Yesterday, bed sheets were torn. They were sterilized and they were used for the operations. There's
really?
Nothing.
Bed sheets?
Bed sheets. We cut the bed sheets in 2. We did the sterilization process, and everything is done on gensets. Dialysis there. You can see patients. There are fractures. Everybody is helping. All doctor community which is coming around. All nurses, they're coming on a voluntary basis, working for 2 hours, 3 hours. They're everywhere on floor. Everybody is on floor. Now we're planning, like we have been shifting patients. First post-op, second post-op, we have been shifting patients to other government hospitals, but they're not doing anything.
He's also a doctor?
He is the owner of this hospital, who has given us place, who has told us to do what all. He has kept everything open. He's telling us do whatever possible, what we can.
हमारा जो सामान है, इनको बोलिए जो हमारा सामान है, जो हमारे दोस्त हैं वहाँ, हमारे बच्चे हैं, वो भेज रहे हैं, हम पे कर रहे हैं. सिर्फ एयरक्राफ्ट जो है हमारे जो सिविल है वो क्या प्राइवेट है उनको बोलिए वो लिफ्ट कराइए.
We need antibiotics. We need sterilized sheets for theater. We need sterilized equipment for theater. We need dialysis fluid. People are dying for dialysis. We don't need any need like financial support. We don't need. We just need medicines, and they should be. Antibiotics should be there. We need injectable painkillers. We need sterilized sheets. We don't need anything. They don't need, because he has kept his hospital open. People are coming, people are going. All doctors, every fraternity is helping us. All nurses, they are coming and helping. All paramedics, sweepers are coming. You just saw, we're cleaning. People are helping. Everybody is coming and asking for help. But the thing is, we are short of resources in the sense we don't have fluids, we don't have sterilized, and no electricity. Nobody is bothered. We had to hijack water. We went to the department. We sent 10 people in our ambulance. They came on the trucks and they hijacked those, and they had filled the tanks so that we can keep this hospital clean.
So as you heard from the doctors of Ahmed Hospital, they don't need any monetary help. But if you look up on the net, their address is there. What they do need is essential medical supplies, antibiotics. So if you feel like helping them out, help them do the amazing job that they're doing, because they never turn people away. While we were there were lots of people, they said that they come there, they were giving them especially dialysis, which is so rare. We met people who had come from 110 kilometers away just for getting that essential dialysis which they needed to live. And people told us over there that they don't need any of that, they just need these medical supplies. So you can look that up and send that. But for now, let's also look at another place which has been hit really badly by the floods but hasn't got that much attention, because South Kashmir is where the floods started. In fact, the people there have been without any power, any electricity for the last 10 days or so. And we went over there, we went to this tiny village over there where people hadn't seen any media, any district officials, any politicians come over there, and they showed us how badly they'd been affected. And what's interesting is that the Air Force over there was involved in rescue work, but for them there was another danger. The area at Pulwama, they said, was militant affected. In fact, 2 BSF men had been killed just before the floods on the 16th of August. And so there were double dangers. So even when they allowed people after flood relief to come to their own medical centers, they had to be really, really careful that it wasn't some militants who dressed up as a flood affected person. Take a look at what we saw at that village and the Air Force, how they were trying to give that human touch. This is the Malangpura area of Pulwama, and this is what authorities refer to as a security sensitive area, which is why you see a lot of security people over here. But what is shocking really is that this area in South Kashmir has gone largely neglected. Nobody's really paid attention to them, and you can see the kind of damage, extensive damage. They had water level. This was the first place to be hit by the floods when the floods first came 8 or 9 days ago.
कि हमारा जो कुछ भी था जो हमारे जद्दू अजदादों का जो प्रॉपर्टी वो सब खत्म हो गया। अब हम बच के क्या करेंगे?
रात को हम निकला 3:30 बजे अपने घर से, यहाँ तक हम पानी में गया। उस टाइम हमारी लेडीज लोग भी, उनको भी निकाला, खुद भी निकल गए। अल्लाह का शुक्र है जान बच गए यहाँ सबका, लेकिन मकान तो करीब 50 या 60 मकान यहाँ पर जो लॉस हो गया सारा।
जब वो रात के 11 बजे निकले तब यहाँ तक पानी था, तब तक वो मकान हमारा दब गया था। मैंने मामा को बोला कि मेरे लिए एक नाव भेजो यहाँ पे। उसने बोला कि नाव आ रही है। मेरा मामा आ रहा था यहाँ नाव लेके, तो उसने नाव यहाँ पे छोड़ दी और कुछ रिश्तेदार थे उसमें, उनको हमने यहाँ पे शिफ्ट किया। तो मैंने कम से कम एक नाव में मैं 100 लोगों को ला रहा था इस ट्रैक तक। ट्रैक से फिर वो यहाँ शिफ्ट हो रहे थे।
The people that didn't suffer, actually the place, I will tell you the name of that particular place, namely Ladu, Pampur. They collected from their own homes, they didn't suffer, but they helped them like their own brothers, like their own sisters, without any being harm, without any pressure. They didn't think what it be.
So while the villagers may not be happy, the Air Force over here is trying to do the best it can, and that's why they have sorties like this one to distribute relief material to distant villages in South Kashmir. This area, as you were telling us, is really militancy prone. Does that make rescue relief work especially tough?
It does. It's got its own challenges because till a while back you were trying to keep the area safe, and now you're trying to rescue people amongst whom are embedded militants.
We went in
support. The people localites, they were not willing to accept because there are 2-3 villages. When we go to one village, the other villages are pelting stones towards us. So this is for self-protection also. I take my gun, I just keep it like this, so the stone pelting is going to be reduced.
Perhaps the maximum impact of the floods has been in South Kashmir, and they say in fact their plight has gone largely neglected even by the media. They're telling us that we're the only media team to have come to these places, and you can just see over here the kind of widespread destruction that has been there. In Pulwama, with camera person Prem Singh, Sunitra Chaudhary for NDTV. So that's a report from South Kashmir, which has gone completely off the radar for a lot of people. In fact, the Air Force there also saying that they could really do with a lot more supplies. We went on one of their recce's. They are trying to help, but they're short of supplies as well. So perhaps that's something to look out for. But whether it's the Air Force, the Army, the NDRF, the forces, the armed forces that are trying to work over here, they do feel and they are facing a lot of hostility from the local people even when they go and rescue them. So we went to Nagaon and we spoke to the people there who are very badly affected as well, and we asked them why is it that they were so angry. Here's what we found.
In Nekbag, Nagaon, the waters have finally started receding. People like us, the media and even the security forces couldn't go even 2 days ago. They are now finally feeling self-aligned, but by then it is too late for some people.
Do you know if they're safe?
Her story is repeated in varying degrees by other residents of Nekbag. From the owners of this house, which was preparing for a wedding till recently, to this one, whose owners have had to leave because they couldn't call this a home anymore. Helpless, they turn their anger towards all outsiders, the rescuers, the migrants, the media, and even the tourists. And we get angry that while things are bad for them, it is many times worse for those stuck in other areas like Rajbagh. While the women are restrained, the men are more vocal, more aggressive in their anger. They tell us what makes them desperate. Days of being stranded with no help. At these times, old sentiments of past bitterness again surface. The story and voice of the Kashmiri regrets and isolation. Their voices aren't backed by everyone, especially not those who are grateful for any help. They tell us to understand their anger, while others who are rescued are just too stunned. Like these young children stuck in the second floor of their home, visibly shaken. They survived only due to the generosity of their neighbors.
5-6 दिन अकेले अकेले था वो मम्मी भी इसके साथ थी हाँ मम्मी वो वही है इनकी मम्मी आप कौन है मैं इनकी बहन हूँ खाने के लिए था वहाँ पे कुछ क्या था और बिस्किट था बस बिस्किट कहाँ से मिला लोगों ने दिया हाँ और कुछ खाने को भी था 4 दिन हाँ जी अभी निकाला है.
But these stories of rescue aren't as many as they need to be. The NDRF and the BSF have rescued more than 11,000 till date. But there is much more needed. And for them too, there are other frustrations.
We have prioritized the area that those buildings which are likely to collapse or where the lives of the people are threatened more, those are our first priority. Problems are, you are operating in the built-up area. And the built-up area, urban area has got its own problems. Now when you have to operate in these areas, then there are many impediments, there are many obstacles, as a result of which your operations are hindered.
In fact, some personnel are alleging boat hijacking, and they say they have to deal with other dangers. Like 2 NDRF personnel even landed up in hospitals when they arrived at Rambagh, because the locals felt they came too late and hadn't reached the actual area.
sustained cut on his fingers. So we wanted to give him best treatment. That's why he has been sent to Chandigarh.
मेहनत के बावजूद भी कल से ऐसे हम लोग लगे हैं बिना खाए पिए। सर कितने लोगों को निकाला, कितना हर जगह, फिर भी इतने जूते पड़ रहे हैं, बताओ पहले। समझ सकता हूँ मैं, हमने तो देखा है यार, दिन बराबर हम लोग एक घर से निकाल के पूरा वो कर रहे हैं।
These men used to fighting natural disasters say Srinagar is exhibiting a new phenomena of urban flood disasters.
Many of the houses or the campuses, they are having concertina coil, or they have got the barbed wire around. There are CGI sheets, their walls are there. There are many angle irons. So we cannot see certain things which are underwater, as a result of which our boats are getting damaged.
Damaged boats, hostile residents, all making relief work that much more difficult, which is why locals aren't waiting.
हमारी एक नाव थी, उसमें हम 50-60 लोग लाते थे। नहीं, हमारी थी यहाँ पे, हम लोकल ने यहाँ पे बना दिया।
Where they aren't so inventive, they use tires or simply a plank of wood, and groups are going around in trucks giving water or distributing food in the community.
बूढ़े लोग जो है वो फंस गए थे पानी में, तो छोटे-छोटे लड़कों ने टायर्स बनाए और टायर्स पे जाके उन लोगों ने उनकी जान बचाई और उनके घरों में खाना भी पहुंचाया।
This strategy is perhaps a godsend, as the residents related that those who were stuck deep inside have sent out tales of how they had to tie their relatives' dead bodies to furniture so that they don't float away. A horror story that we have not heard the last of. With Sunetra Chaudhary in Srinagar, Ambika Verma, NDTV.
And finally, perhaps it's time to give credit to some of the heroes that have been there during this entire traumatic period, and it's a fight ahead. There are many, many days yet left because the water is still there in Srinagar, and they're saying that it's going to take a lot of time before things dry up, and after that rebuilding people's lives is going to be yet another challenge. At this time, getting relief out to people is the biggest challenge, and doing that are these helicopter pilots. Take a look at them. If one looks at the entire Jammu and Kashmir flood tragedy, and if you think about the entire thing, and if you think who's the one character that has really done something to make things better, well, it would definitely be the forces guys, and these are the helicopter pilots who've been going around doing many sorties. I'm going to just ask them, how many sorties per day?
We are done as of now close to 33 sorties.
Okay, so 33 sorties per day just to distribute relief to places that you can't get to. So I just want to ask them, what is it that has really made this operation the most challenging one? What do you think?
The situation is quite dynamic out here. At a spur of a moment, we go for casualty evacuation, and at a spur of a moment, we go for dropping the relief material. Just for instance, we just got a message that we need to drop a patient to the hospital, and probably within 7 minutes, we got airborne, and fortunate enough, the patient is alive today.
Patient is alive. That's fantastic. Anyone else? Yeah.
Actually, the situation is getting critical. More days are passing by, and the flood water is not receding so fast. So, getting to the people is becoming tough day by day, and we are doing it in the least possible time probably here.
I wanted to ask all of you that when we go in there and we see a lot of people who seem otherwise, they're not grateful for the help because they are so upset. They're so upset because things have gone wrong with their lives, their houses are not there. Does that upset any of you?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, it slightly upsets me, but we understand the mentality of the people. Like, they have been stuck there in the water for so many days continuous. So yeah.
So you take the abuses as well. Did anyone get stoned over here? Is that a problem?
There were attempts made of snow pelting as well, but fortunate enough, we could still drop the food material close to the places who wanted them, and could survive that place also and come back to the
There are places that you guys haven't got to, right? Is that going to be?
Generally, we have covered most of the Srinagar area, but the water needs to recede for further rescue operation, probably by road.
Okay, thanks very much. You really are the stars, and everyone thanks you. Thanks very much. So those are really our real life heroes trying to save people, going out there even when they face hostile circumstances. That's it from us, the entire team here in Srinagar. Thanks for watching.